The Sims trick you into thinking life is cheap. It's not. Have you ever wondered how expensive life would be like as a Sim compared to real life? Let's break it down. We've gone over simoleons versus the American dollar and how they compare using objects, careers, and housing. But it didn't answer this burning question I've had in the back of my head. How expensive is it to be a Sim? For this video, we're going to be using a single young adult, fresh outcast, just starting out in Sim Nation. Since we've already covered housing in another video, we'll keep this brief. No dilly-dallying with this one. Sim starter homes are cheaper than real-world starter homes. I'm assuming that doesn't surprise you, right? It's pretty obvious housing has become kind of unaffordable within the last, like 10 years or so, give or take? Unlike in real life, in The Sims 4, nothing has changed. The housing market has stayed the same since 2014. Each new household starts off with at least 20,000 simoleons, and starter homes are typically under that, fully furnished starter homes. Those lucky ducks. I wish we got 20,000 just for starting out. Did I miss a check in the mail or something? Another big difference is that there are no down payments, no mortgages, no lawyer fees, nothing of that sort when purchasing a home in The Sims 4. It's one lump sum and that's that, Bob's your uncle. Let's take a look at some actual numbers, shall we? In The Sims 4, if I want a 1-bedroom, 1-bath starter detached house, I don't have to look far. There are plenty of options throughout the world. I'm going for the cheapest one, and this one at 12,959 simoleons looks good to me. Without furniture, the house costs 7,479 simoleons, which works out to be about $3,813.60 Canadian, or $2,767.39 USD. I struggled to find something similar in real life, a 1-bedroom, no bonus room in the basement, or whatever that could count as a bedroom. I did eventually find one, more than an hour outside of Toronto, listed at $398,000 Canadian, so about $288,813 USD. If we convert that into simoleons using the exchange rate for East Caribbean dollar, which is shockingly similar, check out my video on converting simoleons to USD to get the full picture on how that works. It comes out to 780,534 simoleons and 12 simoleon cents. That's just a bit more than 20,000 simoleons that Sims start off with. Actually, hold up, let's convert that too. That would be $10,198.14 Canadian. Overall, it's clear that housing is way more affordable in The Sims than in real life. Honestly, I don't even need to run the numbers to know that, and I'm sure you're right there with me. Bills in The Sims 4 don't even pretend to be realistic. Not even a little. Let me explain why. In real life, bills are monthly, sometimes yearly, and based on several factors. Most notably, usage. If you use more electricity one month, your bill will be higher. Sometimes you get bills that are simply based on an agreement, like subscription services or cell phone plans. In your contract, it's spelled out what services you'll receive. Maybe that means ad-free Disney Plus or 50 gigabytes of data on your phone. No matter how much you use, as long as you're within the agreed upon terms, the bill will not change. Then there are bills based on your city, region, province, or country, like property taxes, which depend on your city's rate and your home's assessed value. In short, there are a lot of variables. In The Sims 4, it's way simpler. Weekly bills are calculated based on a Sim's possessions and lot value. Higher value items in larger lots mean higher bills. Even items in your inventory count. At first, there wasn't a way to keep track of bills. Thankfully, after patch 95, players got access to a more detailed breakdown of weekly bills, along with the ability to see the current bill status before paying. You can also manage power and water storage. Then there are power and water bills, which are usage-based, plus other taxes, tax breaks, and penalties. With city living, if you're in an apartment or penthouse in San Manchuno, you'll pay rent, which gets rolled into the household's bills. You'll see the rent amount while choosing your lot. And actually, there are 2 apartment buildings in Eco Lifestyle that have a similar thing going on for them. For rent, the cost depends on the landlord's price point and lease terms. For unowned properties, rent is calculated by tile, $1 per tile. With Discover University, post-secondary education comes with student loans if you don't pay tuition up front. The amount depends on the number of classes you're taking towards your degree. If you miss payments, the repo man shows up and takes a random item of equal value. Actually, they'll come if you're late on any bills, not just student loans. anything. And here's another big one. Sims don't pay for things like Wi-Fi, cell service, cable TV, or streaming subscriptions, whether that's shows, movies, music, or any kind of online content. Back to our sim in their starter home. They've got the bare minimum in terms of furniture, and it's just one sim living there, so the bill should reflect that. Let's play through a sim week and see how much their bill comes to. It's worth noting I've set the lights to auto so they turn off if the sim leaves a room. For 1 week where this sim works 9 to 5 at the office, 5 days a week, the bills come to 183 simoleons for lot taxes, 160 simoleons for power, 16 simoleons for water, and nothing for other taxes. That totals 362 simoleons, which is about $184.59 Canadian, or $133.95 USD. The sim has 48 hours to pay their utilities before they get shut off one by one, which, like, so dramatic, oh my god. Now in real life, it's tough to nail down a weekly bill, since that's not how most payment periods work. I dug around for estimates and came up with something close, I would say. For a single week, power is about $31, water $14, property tax $149, Wi-Fi $18.75, phone $15.46, and for at least one streaming subscription around $4.70. These are all rough averages from calculators and resources I found. Some I won't share because they'll give away where I live, and keep in mind they're broken into weekly estimates, even though the real billing cycle is usually a month or longer. So if you want to see the links and whatnot, it is in the video description. Altogether, a human's weekly bill would come to $232.91 Canadian, 169 USD, or just under 457 simoleons. Fortunately, late payments in real life aren't as severe as in The Sims. Usually you'll get multiple reminders, and if you can't pay, you can often set up payment arrangements. In some cases, like if you're 60 plus, companies might extend due dates, and there are even organizations that can step in to help. The point is, sim bills are simplified, while real life bills can be brutal and feel like an endless list of mini subscriptions for everything. Can we end this torture? I don't want any more subscriptions. The cost of groceries keeps rising. At the same time, grocery items keep shrinking in size. We're getting less bang for our buck. Isn't that fun? In The Sims 4, the cost of groceries and their size have stayed exactly the same, even after more than a decade. You just select what meal and what size you want to make from the fridge, and the game automatically deducts the ingredient cost from your household's funds. Unless you already have the ingredient in your inventory, then it's a little cheaper. With cottage living, you can purchase groceries from market stalls or order them through the phone. With Kitchen Clutter Kit, you can buy ingredients by clicking on the grocery bag. Other than that, there are no real groceries in the game. Sims don't need to carve time out of their day to go to the store. You know what they say, time is money, friend! Well, your Sims don't waste time or money at the store. When they do buy food, they get exactly what's needed, with no temptation to splurge on snacks. They magically have the ingredients they need. Eating habits are another big difference. Sims don't comfort eat, snack while socializing, or grab a coffee on the go. On top of that, making meals costs way less than it does in real life. It doesn't add up. In The Sims, meals are a flat fee for the whole dish. In real life, we have to buy every ingredient, which piles up fast. There are two ways to look at this. The first is with a simple meal. Let's say a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, wait. We can't use that because quick meals are generally free. So that Sandy is free. From one sandwich to another, let's check out grilled cheese instead. A single grilled cheese in The Sims costs 3 simoleons. That's about $1.53 Canadian, or $1.11 USD. To make a real one, you have to buy an entire loaf of bread, a full package of cheese slices, and a block of butter. That comes to $13.19 Canadian, $10 USD, or just under 26 simoleons. But you can make about 8 sandwiches with all of that, which means each grilled cheese is about $1.60 Canadian, $1.16 USD, or under 4 simoleons. With that in mind, we can figure out how much a weekly food bill would cost if someone only ate grilled cheese. Yep, 3 grilled cheeses a day, 7 days a week, that's 21 meals. In The Sims, that's 63 simoleons, which works out to $32.12 Canadian, or $23.31 USD. A real life, like, grilled cheese situation like that would be $33.62 Canadian, $24.40 USD, or just under 66 simoleons pretty close actually. The second way to look at it is by averaging all the meals in the game. If you add up the cost of every fridge and stove meal, about 179 in total, and divide by the number of meals, you get an average of 858 simoleons per dish. That works out to 180 simoleons for a week of meals, or 91.78 Canadian, 66.60 USD. According to Blueprint Financial, Canadians spend an average of 333 Canadian dollars, or $241.65 USD, or 653 simoleons per month on groceries for a single adult. So yeah, food really adds up, eh? Honestly, Sims have it way too good. They're out here serving salmon dinners without a second thought about the cost, and meanwhile, we are stuck crying at the checkout line. And when I say we, I mean me. I want to be able to afford snacks and like yummy food. Is that too much to ask? Okay, so we've talked about furniture pricing in-game compared to real life before. Back then, we compared several items from The Sims 4 to their real-world equivalents. This time, I wanted to keep things simple and stick with the bare minimum. This house came furnished. I didn't add or change anything. According to the list price, the furniture is worth 5,480 simoleons, but we need to account for what normally wouldn't be included in a real-life home sale. In most cases, things like the fridge, shower stall, sinks, and counters are already factored into the house price, so what would a Sim actually need to purchase afterwards? Well, whatever it is for this house would come out to 2,348 simoleons, or about $1,197.26 Canadian, $868.81 USD worth of stuff. Here's what's included in that price. 1 queen bed, 1 nightstand, 2 floor lamps, 1 dresser, 1 love seat, 1 coffee table, 1 old TV, 1 bookcase, 1 partition, 1 small dining table, 2 dining chairs, 1 mirror, 1 trash bin, and 1 outdoor trash bin. In real life, all of that would definitely cost way more than just over $2,000. Or at least that's what I think right now. And it gets a little tricky when calculating some of these items. For example, the bed in The Sims 4 comes fully ready to sleep in, but in reality, you'd need a bed frame, mattress, maybe a box spring, plus sheets, a comforter or duvet, pillows, pillowcases, potentially multiples of each. Thankfully, in this case, it's really just the bed and the bookcase that kind of complicate things. Here's what I found. There was a bookcase at IKEA for $89, and then I grabbed the top 12 books from Indigo's Shop All section, which came to $575.47 Canadian, or $417.60 USD, or 1,128 simoleons. For the bed setup, I added it all up and got about $758 Canadian, $550 USD, 1,486 simoleons. Most of this furniture I sourced from IKEA, less like the bed and the bookcase calculations that we just got, and then I found a similar TV listed on eBay. Altogether, the total cost came to $2,574.47 Canadian, $1,868.20 USD, or 5,049 simoleons. I don't even want to say it. When comparing the two, Sims furniture costs roughly half of what real furniture does. Clearly, it's cheaper to live in The Sims 4, okay? Don't make me say it again. Improving yourself isn't free, in The Sims or in real life, but one is way more expensive. Can you guess which one? In general, there are tons of ways to build skills and improve yourself. You can take classes online or in person, watch free tutorials, practice the skill, read about it, and so on. But all of this, to some degree, costs money, whether that's materials, a coach or teacher, your Wi-Fi or phone plan, or even the actual phone, tablet, computer you're using to view the content. Very few hobbies or skills come without at least a very small price tag. In The Sims, that's still somewhat true, but not exactly. There are plenty of things you can do for free. Fishing, gardening with public plants, rock climbing to a degree, snow sports to a degree, handiness skills, practicing on public instruments or mics. All of these hobbies are free in the game. In real life, none of those would come without a cost. Let's say our Sims want to improve their painting skill. They could travel to a lot with an easel already there, or they can buy one. Purchasing an easel would be 350 simoleons, and a medium canvas is 75 simoleons. So one easel plus one canvas comes to 425 simoleons, about $216.71 Canadian, or $157.26 USD. Once the painting is finished, the sim can instantly sell it no matter their skill level or the quality of the painting. So technically, there's potential for them to earn back their money on that first investment, and maybe even more. If they level up their skill, definitely more. Now let's compare that to real life. As a beginner painter, I would have to buy an easel for around $130, a medium-sized canvas for $5.19, paint for $40, brushes for $15, and probably a few other accessories. That totals roughly $150.19 Canadian, $108.99 USD, and around 294 simoleons. On top of that, painting lessons aren't cheap. At the Art Gallery of Ontario, a beginner's class costs $650 Canadian, $471 USD, 1,275 simoleons. Of course, that's a prestigious place to learn, but if I wanted to master the craft and sell masterpieces for, serious money, it makes sense to learn from the best, right? Best case scenario, I'm naturally talented, I enjoy painting, and other people enjoy my work, so I can sell pieces for a decent profit. Worst case, I suck, the paintings suck, and no one wants to buy them. Another best case, I just love the hobby itself and don't care about selling. I'm happy to invest time and money into something creative that I enjoy, which is nice. You probably guessed it already, improving your skills in real life adds up fast. There are plenty of other examples I could use from the game that show the gap between real and sim costs. Cooking and baking, for example, are dirt cheap in The Sims compared to real life. And, to add insult to injury, Sims seem to be naturally good at everything. They level up their skills quickly, and there's always a collector, inventory buyer, or plopsy shopper ready to pay them for their projects if they choose to sell. Real life isn't that simple. You just simply cannot count on turning hobbies or creative work into a steady income. You know the classic saying, raising a child isn't cheap. I guess they weren't talking about a sim child because that doesn't cost nearly as much. Sure, you still need furniture for their bedroom, and they're another mouth to feed, another person to entertain, but clothes? Free. Unlimited clothes for free for every life stage. On top of that, you don't have to constantly buy new clothes, shoes, or little knickknacks. They don't break their toys like real kids, and once a sim ages up, their body stops growing. Like, there is no need for extra children clothing because once they're a child, they stay that same size until they're a teen. Toiletries are free too. No need to buy a shampoo that suits a specific hair type. Actually, no shampoo at all. You're not replacing toothbrushes every 3 months, refilling soap at the sink, buying lotion, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Health costs? Practically non-existent. Let's say your sim is hard of hearing. Hearing aids are free with no appointments required. Just go into Create a Sim and put that on. Now, comparing raising a sim to raising a real child, according to this website, it costs about $293,000 from birth to age 17, roughly $17,235 per year, for a two-parent, middle-income family with 2 children. And that's without including post-secondary education. Since so many aspects of raising a child are excluded from The Sims 4, clothing, shoes, school supplies, activities, camp, medical bills, and so on, I honestly can't come up with a meaningful number to compare. There is no question, raising a child in The Sims 4 is dirt cheap compared to real life, even without that number. Even daycare is free, and a nanny only costs 60 simoleons plus 10 simoleons per hour. It's disgusting how cheap it is. Talking about cheap, let's talk about today's sponsor, Instant Gaming. It is the cheapest place to expand your video game library, no matter if you play on PC or console. Whether you're looking for AAA games or indie darlings, I highly recommend looking at Instant Gaming. Use my link in the video description to help support the channel at no extra cost to you. Happy gaming! This video showed a huge difference between the average sim to an average human and how expensive life is for each. This video, it was kind of bleak, isn't it? It certainly doesn't make me feel great as a real life person, unlike a sim who has it so easy. The takeaway is this. Sure, being a sim does add up more than you might expect, but the cost of living is minuscule compared to real life. Over the years, I've advocated for more realism in The Sims 4 and life sims in general. And I still want to see it. Shared custody, better financial systems, improved personalities and emotions. All of that would be amazing. Yet, I can't help but feel grateful that my real-world existential dread doesn't carry over into the game. I don't have to worry about affording basic necessities or little luxuries. I want drama and realistic storylines, like the ones I see around me or experience myself. But I'm happy that Sims aren't affected the same way I would be in a rags to riches playthrough. Are you surprised by the cost of living in Sim Nation? Or was this what you expected. Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. If you like this kind of video, check out some of the other deep dives I've done on lifespan, employment, and livability. Maybe next time the topic won't be so heavy. Is there something you'd like to see? Until then, stay happy, healthy, and hydrated. Bye!